Hello everyone, welcome back. This is Dina and today is Tuesday, June 4th. Well, I haven't stitched yet today and it is late into the late afternoon, early evening. And the reason is, of course, that I had a volunteer appointment today to work in our local food pantry. But after I finished working at the food pantry, I ran by a local big box store and I was looking for frames. I had all my measurements with me and I knew I was looking for a couple of specific sizes that I wanted, and I found them. So when I got home today, instead of going right into stitching, I went right into finishing. So I want to share my finishes with you. These are 3 of my 6 stitch finishes from Stitch Mania. And the first one is my Pumpkin Spice Farm. And this is the frame that I put this in today. I framed it today when I got home. I love this frame. I think that golden coppery color coming through looks great with this vine and with the sparkly pumpkin. And it must look pretty good because I had it on my table in here while I was working on another one today, and my husband came in from his big hike and he saw it and he goes, "Oh, I like this one. I like the frame with it. It looks good with it." So I was really happy about that. So there's Pumpkin Spice Farm. And this is framed in a 5x7. And the piece measures about 4x6. But because I have this trim on the outside, I didn't even mat it or anything. I just think it looks just fine. And I framed it in the direction to where it's just gonna sit on the table or the mantle or in my china cabinet where I display things. So that is Pumpkin Spice Farm. So my next one you'll recognize also from Stitch Mania. And this little frame here, I love it because it's got sort of a almost a mahogany red color in it. And those beautiful red flowers are almost that same color. I just thought it looked great in here. This is a thrift store find. And it was one of those that came like this. And it had 2 places for pictures, you know. It had a little mat in it for you to put 2 4x6s or something in it. And I looked at the shape and I thought, this looks like it would be a good fit. It was perfect. So this is Count Twice, Stitch Once, all framed up, ready to go here in my sewing room. And then this is my 3rd fully finished that I framed from Stitch Mania. And this is my Lizzie Kate's My To-Do List. And I actually purchased this frame with the double mat. And the fun part about it is there is a piece of cardboard between the 2 mats that make them have a little bit of space. So it gives it depth. I love it. Now this Lizzie Kate, I thought it looked great with the black right next to the black writing. And then to have the black frame with the white, you know, to rest your eyes in between. I just thought it went really well. Now this is what I bought just right off the shelf, and I took out some of the cardboard. I did look in the store. This is a tip. I looked in the store. I undid the back. You just move those little connectors there that, you know, slide in a groove. I moved them out of the groove. I took the back off in the store to look, and it had 3 or 4 layers of little pieces of cardboard, you know, that were the size of the frame, but they were thin, about this thick, but there were 3 or 4 of them. So I knew I had plenty of depth in there to put my foam core board in there. And I even had to put one of the pieces of cardboard back in it to make sure that it would fill up the hole and hold it nice and tight in there. So I like it. I hope you do. And finish that today. I've been lacing a lot today. So I finished that. And then I went ahead and fully finished my next month's. I've already got June. I took it off to show you because I don't think I ever showed you this fully finished. And then I've got my July fully finished as well for next month, so I'm a little ahead. But now I can put these on my board. And I discovered today that I am going to run out of this beautiful Picture This Plus 32 count oaken fabric. This is what I've been using for all of these monthly calendar pieces. I think I have enough based on how close I had to cut it today to try to save enough fabric. I decided I didn't want to cut it that close anymore. And so I'm thinking I can get 3 more on here, 1 here, 1 here, and 1 here. So that gives me August, September, October. That just leaves November and December. So I looked in my stash to see if I had anything close to oaken in there. And I did. I had a piece of Autumn Fields, but it's sort of the lightest color in here, and it's just so delicately modeled that it doesn't look modeled next to this because this is so beautifully modeled. Anyway, so I'm on a mission now. I'm going to go online and I'm going to buy me a piece of oaken, just a real small, the smallest piece that you get, and just to have enough for those last 2 pieces. I thought I was going to get all 12 out of this, but you have to, I don't have enough fabric to wrap well around to lace it. It's pretty close when I'm trying to make room for all of them. So I didn't want to do that. I want it to be something that once I lace it, it's not going to unravel right next to my lacing. So I'll be ordering a piece of oaken for that. But I hope you enjoyed seeing my fully finished objects today, especially since I had stitched all 4 of these, 5 of them maybe. May have even stitched the June in Stitch Mania. Not sure, but I know I did July in Stitch Mania. So that is 4, minimum of 4 of my fully finished objects that are Stitch Mania finishes. Awesome. Okay, I think that's all I have to share with you today. Tomorrow I am meeting a friend to stitch. She's a dear sweet friend, and she's got a family member, her father, who's very ill. He is terminally ill, and she's been very close to home, staying very nearby and watching out for him. And he is stabilized a little bit and doing okay right now, but she doesn't want to get too far away. So we are going to meet at a Panera Bread near her and stitch tomorrow, and so I'm looking forward to that. Hello friends, this is Tina, and I have a special episode for you today. I was requested by one of my viewers to please do a recap of Maynia. Well, I felt like the best way to do that would be to show you in the order that I stitched, every piece that I stitched, and to try to make sure you get the most information that you might want. I'm going to tell you the name of the pattern, of course, and I'm going to try to remember, if I can, to tell you the type of fabric and the color of the fabric, because you might really see something you like, and it might be because of the fabric it's on, and I want to go ahead and answer that for you as we go. I will let you know that I have worked quite a bit on some of these whips because they're all new. They're all whips now if they're not finished since Maynia. So what you're seeing today, you may have just recently seen on any one of these pieces because I'm putting up a video today and then I'm filming this today. So this may look very similar to the last time you saw it. But I wanted to get this filmed because I have quite a bit of progress already, and the longer I wait to film it, the more different it's gonna look, and it'll be even further away from Maynia. So one of the things I'm gonna do is I'm gonna reference my Maynia, my Stitch Maynia book that I used to track this year's Maynia, and this was very handy. But I may be looking down at my notes so that I can tell you the fabric and any pertinent information. I will not go into things such as substitutes for threads or anything in particular about the piece because I've covered that in my Maynia videos, but just to give you an idea of the different pieces that made up my Maynia this year, I will do a fairly quick run through. It may take me a minute to locate it because I have everything spread out on different surfaces right here around me to be able to grab it as much as possible. So the first one that started May 1st was a new start, and this was a hands-on design pattern, and it was the Partridge in a Pear Tree, or I think it's just called the Partridge. But these are 12 days. It's a series, and it's hands-on design. I ordered a special fabric for this, and it's called Riolis. I think I mispronounced it on one of my videos, actually trying to remember it. But anyway, it's Riolis, and this is how it looks. And this was a finish and a start on the same day, May 1st. So that tells you it's not that hard to stitch. It doesn't take that long. I was able to finish it in one day. My second Maynia start on May 1st. I started it that evening and I finished it. I did take the full 2 days that I had allotted each new start. And I can't show you the pattern because I've already gifted it. So, but it was spring delivery, and you'll recall seeing this because it was fully finished very quickly after Maynia, thanks to a dear friend of mine whose finishing techniques you will recognize. Thank you, Vanna. So this is spring delivery. This was very special to me because Vanna gifted me this pattern. And there's the backing fabric. And this has been sitting on my mantle the entire month of May, or most of May, once Vanna finished it for me. Spring delivery. Spring delivery was by With Thy Needle and Thread, and this was by Brenda Jervais, is the designer. And the fabric was an R&R 32 count linen, and the color was Winter Brew. It was something I had in my stash, and I gifted the pattern and the fabric already in a giveaway since then. So a lot has happened since Stitch Maynia began. My next start and finish occurred on May 4th, and it was in a series by Hands On Design, and it was my month of June. And this is how I am displaying my monthly series. I have these magnetized, and I just put them on the board every month, and it sits on my mantle. So this is the June. That was my May 4th finish. This fabric is 32 count Oaken. It's a Picture This Plus linen. and I'm running out of it. The next one is a Lizzie Kate, and it was a start on May 4th, and it was a finish on May 7th. I couldn't put it down. It was on 32 count ivory Lugana. And today I went shopping and I found a frame. So today Lizzie Kate was framed. So this is my to-do list by Lizzie Kate. My to-do list by Lizzie Kate. Pardon my stepping out of camera to put this down. Definitely don't want to break that. Okay, so my next Maynia piece that I worked on was a whip, and it was Seaside Kingdom, which is a Mirabilia, and this is the original pattern, and as you know, I'm converting it to a hand painted fabric. The name of this fabric is Desert Twilight, and it was painted by sunnydyesfabrics.com, and I think it's just absolutely gorgeous, and that's how far I've come on that one. And then the next thing I did was Pumpkin Spice Farm, and my Pumpkin Spice Farm was also a finish, but not right away. I did finish it on I started it on May 8th, and I did finish it on May 26th. And it was on 32 count earthen Lugana. And today, I framed it. So this is the frame that I picked out for Pumpkin Spice Farm. So that's my framing on Pumpkin Spice Farm. I've also gifted this pattern and the cry neck that I used to make the pumpkin sparkle to someone who was a viewer who commented that she would really like to stitch that pattern and couldn't find it. And I sent it right to her. So that one's already been passed along, and that means that 2 of these patterns can already be stitched by another stitcher, which is great. I think that's wonderful. Then on the 10th of May, I started Count Twice, Stitch Once by Plum Street Samplers, and I did not finish it right away. And I've actually used that piece for several 2 or 3 prompts. I actually stitched on it while I watched the Harry Potter movie this month for the School of Magical Stitches. And I stitched it on 32 count lamb's wool Joblin. And today, I framed it. Now my Count Twice, Stitch Once is framed and ready for my sewing room. This one was great fun, and I will probably give this pattern away pretty soon, but so stay tuned for that. Okay, the next piece that I started on May 11th, and I just recently used it for a prompt, so you've seen it pretty recently. But this is a Tempting Tangles pattern, and I am stitching this on 28 count Cashel linen, and it's in the Heroic color. And after I stitched this and showed it and went to put it away, something caught my eye. You probably have already noticed. This does not look right to me. This dark green leaf here and here does not match the colors over here. And I think that's supposed to be a mirror image of itself. I think I misread that, and I think I have the wrong color over here. which means I may have to frog out half of that leaf and half of that leaf and restitch it. So I'll be checking that pretty soon, and if so, I'll correct that really quickly because I don't want anything to slow me down. I'm enjoying this piece and I don't want it to become a problem. Let me turn the page. Okay, then that brings us to May 13th. And on May 13th, I did my Riolis kit. This is a kit that I was asked to review, and I've given my review online, and I just wanted to reiterate here how much fun I'm having stitching this. And I'm sorry you don't have better light, but it's at night, and that's about the best I'm gonna get on that one. But that's my Riolis kit, and you've recently seen this as well, but I'll share it with you again. This is how far I've gotten. Got those 2 limbs done. So I'll be working on that again in the near future, I hope. Got to get it going since it will be a gift as well. Then the next one was a whip, and it's one you've been seeing me work on a lot. I have made a ton of progress on this whip, and I hope to get to do so because I am swapping this chart with Stitching May for one of her charts, and she's already given me her chart, so she's waiting on this one. But this is my Flowers of the Holy Night. And I did stitch on it on the 14th, no, 12th and 13th. I actually stitched on it 2 days. And this is where it is now. This one is being stitched on the 28 count Antique White Lugana. Oh, I didn't mention my Riolis kit was on the called for, or the kitted fabric, which was 14 count Ada. And it's just a bright white Ada. Okay, so my next piece was my gift from my friend Cheryl called Friends. And you've seen it recently as well. Oh, sorry. Trying not to have to give you any crinkling or zipping. I've opened all the packages right before I did this in hopes that I could save your ears. And I use this for a couple of my prompts. So I have gotten a little bit of work on it since Maynia as well. But that's where it's sitting right now. And I need to fold it differently. It's starting to crease a bit. May need to give that an iron next time I get it out. That's where we are on Friends. And this one I have a little bit of time to work on because I probably won't gift it until March of 2020 for a birthday. So, okay, next was my special stitch for my sister. So Stephanie, if you're watching, would you please look away? This one is by the Needles Notion, and it is on a 28 count white Joblin. And you just saw this one recently. I haven't stitched on it since you've seen it. So this will be a repeat, but I am standing up this time so you can see a little bit better the size of this piece. This borders all the way to the bottom. This is all the way across. That one's not quite finished yet, but that gives you a little bit of an idea of the dimensions of it. Okay, Miss Stephanie, you can look back again now. So, my next piece that I started was a start that I shared, the start with Connie G, and that was the Prairie Schoolers, the Needle's Eye. We are doing the one on the bottom, which is the cross stitch pair. And again, I haven't worked on this since you saw it last, I don't think, so that's where we are right now. This fabric that my Needle's Eye is on is 28 count cashel linen, and it's in the color platinum, which I really like. I think that's beautiful. Okay, my next piece was a gift, and I'll Be Home for Christmas. It's another Glendon place, and I'm going to take my notes off of there where I had calculated my size of my fabric. And I did start in the very middle, right around this door area. And I have stitched on it once for a prompt since Stitch Mania. And so it was just a little bit further than what I got to in Stitch Mania. But this is the piece. And the fabric is, did I tell you already? 32 count lamb's wool Joplin. I think it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm loving this. I love how tiny it is. Really nice piece to work on. Okay, the next one was a whip, and it's my 12 Days of Christmas by Jen Shore. You've seen it recently, but I think I have worked on this one and I didn't film it. I actually filmed it, but I didn't put it in. I cut it out this time because it was such a small amount of work. I did it for a prompt and I only did 120 stitches, and so you really have a hard time even telling what I did, but I'll show you what I did. Here's where he is. And the new part that I worked on was right in here. I did the blue under this mitten, and I did the rest of this cuff and the staff that went down here and the red and black up under the arm. I just did enough for the prompt that I was working on. It was strictly to meet a prompt, and so that's why I worked on that one. This is on 28 count white Lugana, and I'm enjoying it a great deal. Okay, now the next one was a whip as well. It's called Simply Love by Glendon Place. You've seen that one developing a little bit. And this is what it looks like. This is on an absolutely beautiful 28 count Lugana. The color is Bashful. It's very pale pink. And it's a picture of this plus fabric. It is, I am doing it in the called for variegated silks. So it is a pleasure to work on this piece. The next one was going to be my final start for Maynia, and it was my final start up until it wasn't. up until the 31st, but this was actually started on the 22nd of May, my Broderie à Paris, and it was another dual start. I started it with someone else, and it has been a fun stitch. You just saw it recently. I haven't worked on it since you saw it, but this is where it is now. And I did get the extra threads. I think they're going to be just enough. So that was going to be everything. I thought I was finished with Maynia. Thought I had done everything I was going to do. And then on the 31st, somewhat due to a prompt that I was going to work on, and somewhat due just because I wanted to, I restarted the Nativity by Teresa Wentzler. And it's on my American Dream frame, so pardon me while I reach. And I have worked on it for Maynia to get it started, and then I have worked on it once since then and did the border, in the interior of the border, 2 specialty stitches in there for a prompt. So enjoying that a great deal. There we go. So that is my Maynia wrap up. I had one start after Maynia, and it was just because I was to do my a series sale, and I think I showed it to you when I worked on it, and maybe not, because I started it to have it to work on at a stitching meetup, and I finished it, and I fully finished it today when I was doing all my framing and whatnot. So this is my July piece, and it will just be displayed on my board just like my June does. It'll just get, there we go. So that's how they look, and they just swap out. So I'll put my June back on there. Good to go. I hope you've enjoyed the Maynia wrap up. It was kind of fun going back through memory lane, and it was a real delight to get to show you the fully finished, you know, the FFOs that I had on the few pieces. So I hope that was a little bit of new information for you, and I hope everyone has enjoyed their stitching. I'm really having a good time doing the stitching for the 24 Hours of Cross Stitch Challenge, and I'm looking forward to this weekend when we actually do stitch 24 hours. So I may do a special after that and wrap up everything that I've stitched in that 24 hours as one video, like I did this wrap up. So getting all of this out and doing this at one time reminds me of what it's like for all of you who do your videos once a month, or every couple of weeks, and you show everything at one time. I can remember now why I started doing it the way I do it. Well, I have that one piece out and I can talk about it and put everything away. I've enjoyed spending some time with you. Thank you for letting me share everything with you. Happy stitching. So, thanks for letting me share all that with you, and I'm gonna look and see how long a video this will be when I pull all this together. I've had so much more to share with you lately with School of Magical Stitches, changing whips so frequently, and then with Stitch Maynia, of course. I put up a video every week, and it was still 45 minutes just trying to show you what I had stitched on. So I'm going to see how long this is now, and if it's long enough, I'll go ahead and put it up maybe Thursday or Friday. And if it's not, I'll just keep adding to it. So in the meantime, you guys, happy stitching.